Welcome everybody to Cranky Old Anglers. Along with Mark, I'm Lyle, and Mark.
Lyle.
60 some degrees today.
60. It was 55 degrees here too, and that's too darn warm. I don't really care for that too much, at least not this time of year. It just makes everything muddy, makes my dog's paws muddy. It makes me trying to get out to my blind a mess. Other than that, and without snow, I don't know where them deer go. I am no real deer hunter. I'm just winging it, man, winging a prayer.
Well, guess what I done today?
You went fishing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, first time.
You know why I guess that? Because you're gonna rub it in because I didn't.
I have been feeling very good. I had what I think was the flu, and I haven't been to the doctor to get my flu shot, and it's the first year in I don't know how many years that I haven't taken a flu shot before flu season hit. And what happens? I get the crap.
Well, do you know this about this is what I've been told by a medical professional. Those flu vaccines, the flu shot, right at the beginning of the year, there's over 2,000 different variants of the flu, right?
Yeah.
And they do all their little figuring and their math equations a little bit above our pay grade, and they take a guess at what the chances are for two different variants of the flu, and that is what the vaccine's geared to. And from what I hear, they missed the target this year, so it wouldn't have helped anyways.
Well, the only thing I know is I had something wrong. Lasted 3 or 4 days. I didn't like it, and about the time that started going away, I twisted my back or done something to it, and it's been bothering me ever since. But I have severe back issues anyhow, so there's always a pain there, but this was a lot worse. And today's the first day I actually felt like doing anything. And hello, 60 degrees, might as well go drown bait. And drown them I did, but that's about it. I mean, it was a crappy day to fish. I thought with this front moving through, they'd be going, but it didn't work out that way.
And speaking of the flu, I want to apologize because we were pretty much not here for the last 4 shows because of me, and I'll tell you why. On December 11th, we had gone out with a friend of mine to go see a Christmas concert. Also, it was kind of like his birthday deal because we have birthdays both in the month of December. And I had one cough while I was waiting in line for a cocktail while we were there, right? Mm-hmm. And that cough hurt really, really bad, and it was all downhill from there.
Right.
So I was sick for like 18 days with whatever it was. I'm pretty sure it was a bad case of the flu. I didn't really run a temperature. It's just I felt like garbage, and I was coughing, and I had no voice for those 3 weeks, for those 18 days. I think it was something crazy like that. So that was horrible. I'm glad to be done with that. My voice still isn't totally cured. So if I phase even more during the show, folks, please forgive me. And also, my mom was over on Christmas Eve. We took her over to a friend's, which was on a Wednesday. So I spent time with her, and then we had made plans with some friends for New Year's Eve, and that fell on a Wednesday too. But next year it doesn't fall on Wednesdays. I'm pretty sure we'll still be doing the show then. So if you guys got anybody to blame me. Don't blame Lyle. We can blame him for lots of stuff, but not the last 4 shows.
I can take it. It don't matter.
All
right. Since we've been off a couple weeks here, I just want to hope everybody had a really nice Christmas and a good New Year and all that stuff, because normally we make we talk about that and wish everybody all the best and all that, but this year we didn't get around to it due to health issues and different things, and that happens when you get to be Mark's age. But I hope everybody had a great holiday season and all that turned out, and now it's time to get back to doing what we do.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward for a great year. I was watching Josh and Chad on Monday night. Ain't gonna lie, I miss seeing you on there. When I didn't see you on there, I had a fight to tune out, but I stayed tuned in. So I did that for you.
I appreciate that.
They mentioned about how they're going to make more of a conscious effort for a good show, and I don't doubt that they will. So,
they're going to. And I just, Monday night, I really didn't feel still wasn't feeling up to par, and them guys do a great job. They can handle things when I'm not around, or even without me. It's no big deal. And these younger guys, Mark, they got such technology things that I don't know how to describe it, but if you take a look at what Josh does, mainly, Josh has a knack for getting things done, especially with electronics. I don't think he gets near enough credit for the knowledge that he shares with people. I really don't. And let's face it, Chad has been on the fish here lately. He's been not only fishing a lot, he's been catching a lot. So I'm happy for him. I mean, him and Bill been tearing it up. I think it's a little bit too nippy for Dee right now, and that's okay. She works hard and does her part, and she wants to sit home and stay warm. God bless her for that. You know what I mean? But Chad and Bill, they've been on the fish. They've been knocking them out, and like I say, I was happy for them, but my day didn't go very well today. It just I tried 2 different lakes and none at the first one, and caught one little ditch pickle at the second one. I was so ashamed of myself, but you don't know what you're going to catch when you throw that jig out there. You don't have any idea what's going to hit it. Hell, I've caught catfish on them, and bluegill and crappie and bass and hell, everything under the sun, and it's okay because they're all fun to catch. But I was kind of wanting something to eat, and looks like it beat freezer time for me.
Well, you can eat a ditch pickle. Don't let it stop you.
No, I can't.
No, you can't. Catch fish with
trash
us.
Fish, man. They're like drum. Them's trash fish. I ain't eating them suckers.
Catch Fish with us says Josh is one of the most intelligent people in the community. He can dumb it down for the rest of us.
That's exactly right. And that's what sets Josh apart from a lot of the people that has his abilities. Most people talk electronics and everything. Of course, I'm kind of speed electronics. I was done a lot of electrical stuff in the automotive industry for years. It's all 12 volt. So 12 and 24. Hello, Gidget. 12 and 24 volt are basically similar. So I understand computers and how electronics work, but a lot of people don't. And he makes it easy for anybody to understand. So he does a bang up job with that. And him and Chad, they do fine, and they'll be great. Just the 2 of them one day.
Hey, look at that. There's Schmieder the Cedars. Let me get this. Schmieder, he's been watching our show for a long time. I got an email from him. I also got a message from him on my Catfish and Crappie account on Facebook, and he shared a picture with us. Let me show it to the folks in chat here. And I was real happy that he decided to share it. He says he's been watching us for a long time. And there it is right there. What's up, Schmieder? Look at that. He's got himself some trout there, which is some good table fare. If you're into that, I love making trout dip out of them. But I was real happy to get that email from him. I've been so busy in the combination with so sick. It took me a little while to get back to him, but I'm glad I got back to him at least on Facebook. So sorry it took for a while, my friend. But thank you so much for sharing those pictures with us. We always appreciate it.
I got to tell you, the little bass I caught today, it was one of the better looking bass that I've ever seen. It is absolutely gorgeous. Wasn't very big, but on 4-pound test line and a ultralight action rod, even the bass didn't fight very hard today. The water's cold. The water's cold. So nothing's really putting up distinctive battles. And I'm a little disappointed with all the crappie that I caught all summer and fall, that I'm struggling getting them to go now. I get a couple bites, but I think they've moved into deeper water, and I'm fishing them docks, and you walk out on the dock and it's got if in case the rains or snows or whatever, it's got a covered dock on it. A lot of it's not covered, but a pretty good size area of it is. But I can't, and I know they're there. I just can't get them to go. And I'm a little disappointed in myself for that, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep figuring it out until I get it figured out. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
At that point, we'll have some more pictures and stuff. But I shouldn't whine and carry on like I'm doing, I guess, because I caught a world of crappie this summer and fall. I mean, I really did.
Yeah, you had a real good year there for a while. Let me say hello to everybody, Lyle. We're getting ahead of ourselves like we always do.
Yeah, well,
there is Benoit Fishing Outdoors. What's up, ladies? How you doing? Catch fish with us is in the house. There's Cindy Stokes. How you doing, Cindy? What's going on? There's my friend downtown, Ernie Brown. He's been trying for them deer on his property. I'm pretty sure he's going to get one.
he's been cooking up a storm.
Oh yeah. And Heather Stokes in the house. Heather, I hope you're feeling good. There's Lisa. What's going on, Lisa? How you doing? Catfish lady. Mark Barnum in the house. PB Catfishing. What's going on? How you doing, Paul? Schmieder the Cedars, which we said hello to. There's our buddy Frank over at Twisted Fishing TV. And there's V from V Smith. Watching on the horizontal side, we have Dylan 19 ABLE. Have to forgive me, YouTube showing the strange usernames again, which is fine. We'll get it figured out. But thank you everybody for watching. We always appreciate you. It's been a while since I was able to get out and do a little bit of fishing, which is why I took up the whole, trying to chase deer around, and being out of it for a week or a month, I should say, not being able to do anything was kind of rough. But, I got until the 18th to get one of them, and then we'll figure something out. I was talking to Betty Jean the other day, and I've been doing a heck of a lot of walking through the woods, hauling gear and all sorts of stuff. And I thought to myself, you know what? Isn't this the same thing I was complaining about not wanting to do when I was ice fishing, Lyle?
I was getting ready to say that.
So I think next year maybe I'll do a little ice fishing again too. What I was going to do is, I have that live scope on my boat. I figure I'll get a shuttle, and because I had sold all my ice fishing electronics, thinking I wasn't going to do it again. But if I get one of those live scope shuttles, I can use my live fishing setup for that, and it'll work just fine. So I think that's what we're going to do next year. I still have the sleds and all my tackle, rods and reels and all of that stuff sitting over here in the garage. I was just kind of looking at it. So,
we have a mutual friend that's really been crying about no ice this year. This was supposed to have been a really bad winter. From everything that I heard and read, it was going to be real brutal, and so far it hadn't panned out to be that way. And I'm not complaining about that because I don't want it to be. But a certain little short feller that we both know he's like a little baby, just whines and cries about not having no ice to fish, and it makes you just want to turn him over your knee and paddle his little ass and send him home. But Katie wouldn't like that. So,
it's funny you said that, because we've had an exceptional winter for ice fishing here, to be honest. The guys have been out on the ice up until recently when we had that thaw. They've been out there and they've been hammering them. We have a lake over here. I'm going to take a second to talk about this here. We have a lake here called Crystal Lake in the town of Crystal Lake, Illinois, right? And it's a nice lake. During the summer, you have to live on the lake or live in the township to be able to get onto that lake. You can't fish anywhere unless you know somebody off the bank, nothing. So in the winter, it's game on. And social media it's leaked out on social media that people fish on there, right?
Right.
I got to put that right there.
I wasn't going to do it.
I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to put that there. Oh my God, Lyle, there's been so far 2 fist fights and all sorts of arguments on this little body of water over here. It's been crazy. So I just wanted to mention that for 2 reasons. One is because it's funnier than heck. 2, act like adults, folks. It's in such a tight urban area, everything is a community hole. I don't care what you say. There's not enough water and too many people for you to be arguing like that. Well, those 2 guys that got in those fights, I think they got hauled off to the pokey, and their kids had to witness that stuff, which was kind of bad. And I think what they're arguing about is a guy would set up his shanty, and then he'd drill like 6 holes within like 100 feet of his shanty for tip ups. You know, there's like 3 guys fishing there, so they get 3 lines apiece. And somebody doesn't like the fact that somebody wants to fish that close. Well, if you got 100-foot circle all the way around you and you're the only one on fish, you're an idiot if you think that someone's not going to move in on there.
You know, one of the funniest things that I remember in all the tournament years that we fished tournaments, 2 guys was going to the same spot. Both had fast boats, but one of them was catfishing out of a bass boat. And he pulled in front of the other guy and throwed an anchor out just right in front of him. As this guy was already slowing down. And the first guy was pulling up to him and going to get on his boat and get a hold of him. I'm telling you. And I'll never forget that. Fighting over a spot on the Mississippi River as vast as it is. What the hell? There's millions and millions of fish in that river. If you don't have more than one place to fish, if you're in a tournament and you only got one place to fish, there's a problem. But that guy shouldn't have pulled in front of him like that and just throw his anchor out. That was wrong. But anyhow, I found that very entertaining.
Well, you know what they say? They say, you know, the 100% of the fish are on 5% of the water. So, I mean, I don't know. I've fished a lot of like barren water, so
I have too. But I think there's fish everywhere, just not the fish you're looking for sometimes.
Gotcha. I think our chat has stopped on StreamYard, Lyle. Has it stopped on your end?
Oh, it's not moving, so I don't know.
I think it did. I've seen a whole bunch more of them here. Let me see what I can do here.
What about over here? Yeah, it's still working on looks like it's still working on YouTube.
On YouTube it's working, but it's not working here. Hey, there's Bugman. What's going on, Bugman? There's Josh, the Weekend Angler. We were talking about you earlier, Josh. Thanks for coming in, bud. Let's see who else. I think that's it. Josh, Buggy says he's working right now. Frank says we play musical holes. So many holes. They're just there. Yeah. He's talking about
enough to see Buggy's show the other morning. Somebody was driving down the road and he was talking. They was visiting, going down the road. Popped in for a little bit this morning, but didn't stay very long because I wanted to catch fish, you know.
Yep, Chad just broke free on StreamYard. I'm talking about on our side, Buggy. Now it's coming through. All right, good deal. So fishing into 2026, Lyle. You got any plans of doing any traveling this year at all?
I haven't made any. I know Danny Stone was after me to fish a tournament with him, and I don't know. We'll see how that comes out. I'm kind of I'm on the border about that. I hate to get started back in tournament fishing. I love it so much, and I go at it so hard. Most people go to a tournament and they'll get there on a Friday or Saturday and fish the tournament Sunday or Thursday and Friday. And I'm there several days and I'll have everything done. It doesn't mean we're going to win or catch fish or even, but I'll lay out a plan and I plan on winning, whether we do or not. You know what I mean? But I go at it very hard. I spend days and days just looking for fish, and a lot of times not even trying to catch them, because if I find them, I figure I can catch them if you got the right bait and you're on the right water. But Mark, tournament fishing is so tough these days with this live scope and all this stuff, and I'm not a fan of that for tournament fishing. I think it should be banned from all tournaments, period. If you get caught with a live scope even on your boat during a tournament, you should be jailed for the rest of your life. I mean, you can pick out the fish you want to catch. How in the hell is that right to everybody else? It's just not. I'm never going to get over that. It's not that technology is going to keep getting better. And I got that. I understand that. But when you're in a tournament, you shouldn't be able to find your fish, pick out the one you want, and then go to the next pile and find one and pick it, because everybody can't afford it, number one. Everybody can't use it, number two. And it takes away the sport of fishing. It's no longer fishing, it's catching. Because if you irritate one enough, he'll either going to leave where he's at or he's going to strike that thing to get rid of it. So, but yeah, I'd love to have one to catch bait with. Love to. But that's the only thing that I would really want. I've seen a video, I watched a video the other day of a catfishing guy. And I don't remember which one it was, and I probably wouldn't say anyhow. But anyhow, they was using live scope and sit there and just bang this fish and bang this fish and bang this fish. The first one till he left. He just took off. They couldn't find it. They got on another one, and they kept drifting bait back to it, drifting bait back to it, drifting bait back to it, and finally it just took it. And this went on for several minutes. So, like I say, you're either going to run them off or catch them, and it's no longer fishing then. To me, that just takes all the sport out of it. So, I don't know.
Well, I can see how you feel that way. Definitely. I think the problem is when not everybody in the tournament has it. That's where it lies with me.
That's right. And everybody can't afford it. Let's face it.
Well, not everybody can afford, a big 300 or a 400 horsepower motor either. You know what I mean?
But I sure want one.
Well, you do want one, and a lot of the guys out there do want live scope. That's the same thing.
That's it. Yeah. And
deep pockets have always, done well in sports, whether it's racing, fishing, baseball, football. The deeper the pockets, the more you can spend, the better you're going to do. That's always been a fact of life.
That's exactly right. Frank's got a great point, and I agree with that 100%. If you use them for structure, if you find structure, even though you don't mark a fish, a lot of times the fish will be on that structure regardless. But, if knowing where they're at and being able to pinpoint them and just cast your bait to them, there's just something about that doesn't set with me right. And like I say, for getting shad, skipjack, whatever kind of bait you want, I can see where they would be, oh my God, just heavenly. Because shad's hard to come by. And if you got some way of finding them better, boy, I can't get that camera adjusted right tonight. It just makes things so much better. So
yeah, definitely for catching bait and stuff, it's fantastic. And I've said this, and many people have said this: just because you got live scope doesn't mean you can't make. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to make those fish.
No, it doesn't. But
but if you're a pro level fisherman, you're exceptional in that case. That fish isn't going to bite. It's time to move on. I don't, it's been a while since I even fished in my boat because of the weather and stuff. But
yeah,
when I have it, I don't even use it. Once in a while, I'll use it to verify that there's actual fish there, or if there's any fish down in a piece of structure. But other than that, I don't sharpshoot or any of that. And in my shallow river, if there's weeds there or whatever, you can't see fish unless they're moving inside of those weeds. For nothing. So, I mean, it's 6 of 1, half dozen for me. I don't fish tournaments. I have live scope. Would I buy it again? No, I wouldn't spend that money a second time, Lyle, to be honest.
Yeah, I knew you and I talked about that before. I just, I would like to get on a boat with somebody that's got it. And I know from watching these videos, these guys showing us how they find crappie and bluegill and shad and skipjack and stuff. But the catfish guys are used it too.
Well, of course.
And they're not as open about sharing how that is working for them as a lot of them. Now, Spencer Bauer has put out a little bit of information on how he uses it for catfishing. But a high percentage of these guys are very tight-lipped about that right now.
Well, if I remember correctly in that video, he was horizontal, dropping a bait horizontally and he was pulling them up off the bottom. That's no different than how you would fish for something through the ice. It's the same way.
Right.
The horizontal fish and pulling them off the bottom, and he was able to get on a few. I don't think he does that anymore. He's still an anchor fisherman, to be honest with you. He doesn't drag baits all too often. I don't think I see him doing it in his videos much at all. So Jody was calling you darling, I think. That's why I highlighted that one, Lyle.
Oh, I thought she was highlighting it because she said you smell like a skunk or something.
Oh, did she? Hold on. No. Mark still skunks just like he always. Oh, quiet, Jody. You know the rules, Jody. Let's see what V has to V. V says, I'll be honest, I didn't think about cheating at all. And then I was told what people do. It floored me. Sadness busted my bubble. Yeah, that's true in a lot of things for me, V. 100%. People do cheat. Everything from walleye to bass, crappie fishermen, cat fishermen. If you know what they say if you ain't cheating, you're second. Right?
Well, that's the way it is in the race car industry. I'll promise you that, especially stock cars, because with dirt cars and stuff, for years and years, them Chevy guys would run stroker motors, and you had a 350 limit, cubic inch limit. You couldn't go over 350 cubic inches, and they made it 353 then. That way, they would allow the 351 Windsors from the Ford guys to go in there. And then they raised it up to 360 so the Dodge boys could come in there. Of course, they never done any good anyhow, but regardless. The thing that was happening was they was running in 383 strokers, putting in 400 Chevy cranks and then 350 blocks. Well, and they finally caught on to that. And they tried to make the field fair and even as they could. Well, little did they know that there is 1 inch difference between the center line of the crank to the top of the cylinder head, where the cylinder head bolts on the block on a 351 Windsor. Now, you can look at a 351 Cleveland and know that that's not what it's supposed to be in there. But they couldn't tell the difference between a 302 and a 351 Windsor. And since them Chevy guys was running a 383, we'd run 393 strokers and then Fords, putting in 400 cranks in there. And the ass spankings soon began. And they couldn't catch us because they didn't know how to check a Ford, only because most everybody was running Chevrolet. And they knew how to check them to find them cheating, but they didn't know how to check the Fords. And there was an old boy from Springfield, Illinois, that was sponsored by Burger King, and him and I talked one night. And he was running a bigger stroker than we was. Of course, he run late models, and we was running a sportsman class at that particular time. And he would wax their ass in the late models, and we'd wax their ass in the sportsman class. And pretty soon, all them boys, they was all mad. They couldn't touch us. They didn't know why. But like I say, in the race car industry, you're either cheating or you're not winning. One of the two. You cannot play by the rules and compete because everybody else is cheating. That's just the way it is. That's why the fines are so great in NASCAR when they catch them doing something. The question is how long they've been doing before they got caught.
Yeah.
You know,
well, there's so much money in NASCAR. They don't even care about the fines anymore, but that's another story.
$8 million to sponsor a car for a year, what I seen the other day. And a 5-year deal, $60 billion for somebody to sponsor NASCAR itself. 5-year deal. And it might have been, I'm not sure, but I think that I read that O'Reilly's Auto Parts is going to take over the Infinity series. I don't remember now. I haven't been feeling good, but
that's too rich for my blood.
$60 billion.
That's crazy.
That's just crazy. I don't know if there's that much money in the whole world.
You'd be surprised how much there is. I left that comment up from Frank. He says, I fished my regional lakes and rivers so much I can go straight to where the fish are likely to be. Now that's part of the reason why people don't like live scope right there, Lyle. And I don't mean anything about specifically, Frank. But you got all these old timers, you got these people that have been working on these lakes and fishing them hard and busting their hump trying to figure out the fish and the water they're on. here comes some kid right out of high school with live scope, and he's out fishing your ass. And that's really
he just runs around till he finds them and then starts catching them. I mean,
that's part of it too. There's a lot of pissed off people in the world about that.
It hasn't been too many years ago. There was a couple of young lads, early 20s or maybe younger than that jumped in a tournament up at below Keokuk, Iowa, on the Mississippi River. Just showed up in an old 16-foot John boat and a 30-horse or 40-horse motor. And it was full of big guys in this tournament, local guys that had done well in tournaments. And they waltzed out there and give them a good spanking and went home and never fished another one. They just wanted to see if they could do it. And they didn't even, I'm not even sure they had any electronics in the boat, but they knew where the fish was.
Well, they knew their body of water. That's how come home team always has the advantage, especially in fishing. So
yeah, and they fished right down from somebody else that was in the tournament, so everybody knew that they didn't do anything wrong. They just caught fish. Them days are getting fewer and further between, but yeah.
I want you to read that for me, Lyle. I need to hear it.
Mark is a great flathead hunter. He is a wealth of knowledge, and you can learn a lot if you take the time to listen and apply it. My God, I can't believe Jody said that.
Good night, everybody. Have a great show. It was a wonderful time. We're going to end on that one.
Wow. Jody said that?
Jody said that.
That's
Truth
hard
comes
to
out. Oh,
wow.
Now read this one. This is my buddy Troy.
Wow, did you hear Mark fell asleep at the deer stand and the deer walked right underneath his stand? I heard something like that.
No, that's not how it went. We had this talk already. What's going on, Lance? How you doing? Hey, Troy, what's going on, buddy? If they didn't come in to abuse me, they wouldn't come in, Lyle. So I figure I'll read one of them from them a long time ago.
Yeah, Mark Barnum says the Dodge is coming back in the truck series. I seen that. They won't. I just don't see them lasting long. They don't have the money that it takes to do that. And they're in and out so many times here lately. I don't think they're going to get the backing that it takes to do that. In fact, I'm still shocked that anybody backed Toyota. I mean, real Americans wouldn't back a foreign company. That's just my opinion. For what it's worth.
I figured out how to make money with that truck series. Isn't that what some of the problem was in the past with those truck series? So
it's all about money.
It is all about money, and they're thinking, you got the Ford Hot Rod. I don't know what it's called, their version of the hot truck. You got the T-Rex from Mopar. I mean, there's some hot trucks out there with big price tags. I think they're trying to figure out how to move those. So,
well, that'll do it. The slogan used to be when I was growing up: win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
And the Ford Raptor, that's
Ford Raptor. Well, they got a trimmer out now and something else, but that trimmer I really like. If them Raptors, my God, I don't know how anybody could afford to buy one.
My wife works for a huge auto group, right? And her office is located in a Jeep Ram and something else facility, right? I walk in there one day and they had that the Raptor in there, not the Raptor. They had the Dodge one, whatever the heck it's called, the T-Rex. They want over $137,000 for that truck.
How do people make payments on that?
Oh no, I don't know.
More than a lot of people give for their house. A lot more than a lot of people give for their house.
It's crazy. Frank says, you'd love my town, Lyle. Look up Auburn, Indiana. We're one of the nation's car meccas. We have several auto museums, ACD factory museum, and a festival, National Ford and Early Ford Museum. Cool.
I would like that. I'd find that really good. Solo Texas Adventures. Hello, Frankie Lyle and Grumpy Mark. Hello, Solo Texas Adventures.
What's up, Solo? There's James. What's going on, James? How you doing, bud?
Did you see the picture of Mark trying to catch deer in his cast net? I did not, Jody, but I would like to see that.
That Troy. Don't be reading their comments unless there's a super chat attached to it, Lyle, anymore. I'm cutting it off here for those two. Definitely. The rest of them are fine. You know what museum? We have have you ever heard of the Volo Auto Museum, Lyle? We got that right here by my house. That guy's got a huge collection of like 3,000 cars. It's pretty crazy.
Oh,
He's
wow.
got the original Batman car in there, all of them crazy things.
Wow. I remember when they
And
had
he's
the
got a car that Jody'd be interested in, the Wienermobile. He's got one of them over there too.
Hey James, how you doing? Glad to see you in here tonight.
And Frank is telling us that ADC is the Auburn Duesenberg cord.
Man, them Duesenberg, I've seen one of them one time, long time ago. They are way advanced for their time frame in the automotive industry.
I'm happy with my 2014 truck. I don't need a new one, Lyle. I'll be
good until
that
Me
wheels
too.
fall off of that sucker.
Well, you got to drive them that long now, Mark. You just have to. You just have to.
So part of my fishing plan in 2026 is not to buy a new truck. How about that?
I'll go for that. You did you happen to watch James and Jody live the other night?
You know, I was on my way out the door. I caught it for about 15 minutes waiting for my wife. I didn't say hello in chat just because I'd hate for someone to say hello to me and me miss it because I was running in and out of here. But yeah, I saw them start. I saw the start of their live.
I have to tell you, I feel so sorry for James. Jody treats him so bad.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what to say. He puts her back in the back and lets her sit back there by a heater, and he goes out, stays outside where it's nice and cold, and it's just. And then the next night, it was 70 degrees the next night, and she's out fishing by herself.
Yeah, he's always catching all her bait for her, and she just takes it. He's spooling up his gear, tying her rigs. He does everything for her.
Except cast and reel in the fish. She's going to reel in fish in.
She'll reel him in, yeah.
Yeah, he can forget about that. But yeah, they had a couple of good lives last week. I enjoyed watching them.
I think our StreamYard kind of crashed again too.
There ain't no telling it. The StreamYard's been having some issues. So I don't know.
James says my plan for the new year is maybe to catch a catfish that weighs more than 5 pounds. Me too.
Hey, Crappie Kid, welcome, buddy.
What's going on, Crappie Kid? How you doing? Also, Frank says my truck is pre-2000 big block. It runs like I'm not going to say that, but runs good.
The only problem with that, and I like them older trucks really well, and they're a lot easier to work on. The problem is they don't get the gas mileage that these new ones do. I mean, they just don't, and that's too bad.
Well, here's a kicker that really kind of upset me is my 2004 Cummins got probably 6 miles to the gallon better than my 2014 Cummins. That was ridiculous. That upset me a lot. I mean, you think a diesel would get good gas mileage, but not so much today's. Unless you're pulling some weight behind it, it doesn't pay to have a diesel. Unless you're pushing, snow or pulling trailers, it don't pay. So if I do get a truck someday, it'll probably be one of them gas jobbers. So we'll see if we ever get around to it. I
will tell you, Mark, I had the Ford diesel right before they come out for Power Strokes. Pulled a 32-foot gooseneck horse trailer with it. Absolutely loved it. But diesel was priced in those days where it should have been and not higher than gasoline. They're just raping us on diesel fuel right now because they know the trucks has got to have it and they're going to get it. So if you have a diesel, you're going to pay the price. They do get a little better fuel mileage as a general rule for an equivalent gas motor in an equivalent truck. But they're catching them. The new technology and the computers and all the stuff, they're really catching them. But one of the best vehicles I ever had was a Ford Ranger pickup, four-wheel drive. I had a couple of them, but I bought this one from a conservation agent. He'd had it for a long time, bought a new truck, and advertised for sale, and I had hit a deer with mine and went over and bought that thing. And the only problem with it is pulling boats. You know, you got to have a dinky ass boat, or you can't pull it with a Ford Ranger with a V6 in it. So that was the only thing I didn't like. But I like the size of them, the way they run, they drive, they get decent fuel mileage. But to be honest, my truck now gets better gas mileage than any of the Rangers I had, even two-wheel drive ones.
Yeah, they're getting that gas mileage better and better. My 2004 Cummins was a great truck, got great mileage, pulled great, pushed snow great, got a lot of money on the trade-in. I had 270,000 miles of pushing snow and pulling trailers, and I still got $24,000 when I traded it in. But the only problem is the thing rode like a log truck, Lyle. The thing used to beat the dickens out of me. Oh my God.
That's one of the big advantages of a Ford, and I love my Fords. I worked General Motors garages for a long time, but it's hard to beat a ride in a Ford pickup. They just ride so good. They really do.
I've never been in a heavy duty, a 2400 or a 25 or a 3500 Ford. I've never been in one, so I couldn't attest to that.
That was a selling point for them for a lot of years.
But I also put timber and shocks in there. I also had airbags in the back for pulling a 13,000-pound toy hauler that I had behind there. So that thing was pretty stout, and I'm not going to do that again. That's for sure.
Yeah, it just everything affects it. I tell you, something that really gets me is wind. These new trucks, almost, or cars, either one, most of them have a thing that tells you you can go in and push a button and it tell you how much gas mileage you're getting at this exact time. And if you hit a gust of wind, you can almost watch it go down.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And I remember when certain vehicles, and I'm not going to name vehicles because it's a long time ago, but some of them, the way they was geared with carburation and things like that, would get better gas mileage running faster. When they made the speed limit 55, you'd actually lose gas mileage by running the speed limit. If you sped it up 5 or 10 mile an hour, it'd actually get better mileage. And the reason they made the speed limit 55 was to get better fuel mileage. But with these new fuel injected vehicles, gasoline engines, carbureted engines never would get the longevity out of the motors we get now, because these are more efficient. They burn the gas. You don't get as much carbon deposits down on top of the engine. Yes, everybody can't work on them now, but you're saving a lot of money with the better fuel economy you get. And they all ride and drive good. The parts last on them longer. It's just technology. It's just like we was talking about the last scope. Technology, it doesn't matter what facet of life you're in, technology is gaining on everything. And it's, hey, Mike Hurd, how you doing, buddy? It's going to get better. B says she does not like the 10 miles a gallon her truck gets. I got you. I wouldn't like that either.
You know, fuel injection is pretty much a variable carburetor. It adjusts to what's going on. You can't beat that with a stick compared to a carburetor.
Yeah. Something else I miss is standard transmissions. Although
I can see Mark with airbags. No, not those kind of airbags.
Yeah.
You're secondary, son of a gun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh man.
Yeah, VVT changed gasoline engines forever. Right on, Josh.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Mike Irvin? How you doing, bud? So yeah, I mean, even fuel injection in 4-cycle outboard engines. I mean, you got to plug it into something to get it to work. But when it's working probably better than anything before it. So
absolutely, yeah. It just, technology is, some facets of technology I don't like, but other things is wonderful. You know,
I agree with this 100%. Catch Fish with Us says, I miss wing windows in my trucks.
Me too.
100%. Those are a great adventure. We should have a petition to bring those back in these trucks.
Never happened.
I know, but they were
awesome. If they did, they'd have to be electric. Because how many vehicles you've seen recently that doesn't have power windows, power seats? They don't even order them. I mean, you can order them like that, but the only people that really buy them are companies that are conserving money because they're buying 10,000 of them to install satellites on your house or something like that. They don't even put them out with manual stuff on them anymore.
Josh apparently has sweaty nuts. He says the little vent window and the nut vent underneath the spoon, bring them back.
And the dimmer switches on the floor.
Just look at this. They're aging themselves, and floor dimmers. I bet you my nieces wouldn't even know what to do with that button on the floor.
Oh, they'd be so confused. A lot of them would see the third pedal with a stick shift. And I'll tell you a story. This is really funny. I had a kid that wanted to go to work for me. He come in one day, and he wanted me to sponsor his stock car. And I wouldn't do it. He just got out of the military. He didn't have a job. A couple of days later, come in. He said, man, I'm not a mechanic. He said, but I can do a little bit of stuff. He said, but I'm looking for a job. And I'm thinking, well, maybe this guy's out of the military. Maybe he's training. A lot of them guys are very disciplined, and you can tell them something and they'll hang on to it. Yeah. So I give him a shot, and he could keep your shop cleaner than anybody you ever seen. He was tall, and he'd walk underneath the rack, and he had skin places all over his old bald head. And I told him one day, I said, Rick, there's a car out there. It's got a 3-speed or a pickup with 3-speed on the column. I said, we got to put a clutch in that, run out there and get it. Well, I never thought about him not being able to drive a stick because he wanted a stock car. I mean, he wanted to race stock cars. And I'm standing by the door. It was wintertime. I'm waiting to raise the door up. And he did come. And I thought, God damn, maybe that thing doesn't start. So I walk outside, and I said, what are you doing? He said, I can't get it out of park. I said, what? He said, I can't get it out of park. I said, Rick, it's a 3-speed on a column. Yeah, I can't get it out of park. It's a stick. Get out of it so I can take it in. We got to get this done today. He couldn't get out of park. Manual transmission, 3-speed. I told him. I don't guess he knew how to drive a stick.
Well, I got a story for you. When I was 16 years old in high school, I got a job at a Dodge dealer, being a porter, washing cars, moving cars, all that good stuff, right? I never drove a stick. I lied to him. I says, oh, yeah, I can drive stick. No problem. Oh. They're like, all right, you need to move this line of cars, like second week of the job. I need you to move this line of cars up to the other one and move that one all the way to the front. Well, that second line of cars was nothing but remember those little Dodge Omni garbage trucks, garbage cars, those little compact cars? They were all stick shift, Lyle. I had to move 25 stick shift cars without ever having to do it before. Those cars were like parked like this all the way back and forth down the aisle, all staggered. I couldn't get them right, but I figured it out.
We had another guy come into the shop one time, and he was going to college from a foreign country, and his country was paying him to come over here to go to college. Our country was paying him to learn, and the schooling didn't cost him anything. He had a whole handful of kids, and he was going to be a minister. And I worked on his vehicles for him, and everything went fine. One day he come in, and somehow his son had come up with a Honda something, nice car, with a standard transmission in it. Had it 2 days and tore the clutch out of it. And we got it done, got the clutch in it. I test drove it, everything was good on it. The kid come in to pick it up. He couldn't get out of the parking lot. I had to teach him how to drive the car. And when his dad come in to pay bills, I will tell you right now, if the clutch is out of that next week, I ain't doing it for free. I said, that kid ain't got no business with a clutch car. He don't have a clue what it is, how to use it, or nothing. I said, I got him where he can drive it. But if the clutch goes out again, it's on you. I mean, you got to be that way sometimes.
But his dad taught him how to drive a stick, I hope.
I don't think his dad knew how to drive it either.
That makes two of them.
It's been a long time ago when that happened, but yeah.
Mark Barnum says Stix a Gen Z's theft prevention device.
That's true.
The millennials don't know how to drive stick too well either. I learned that the hard way.
That's right. All my kids learned to drive the standard transmission.
Mike Irvin likes to lock out hubs.
Yeah,
I used to hate getting out to do that. I ain't gonna lie, because every time I needed it, it was either snowing like crazy or I was 8 inches in mud already, and I had to get out of that darn truck.
In the wintertime, I always left mine locked in. But I worked on them, so if it needed something, it wasn't a big deal to me. I grew up in a farming community. If you didn't work on four-wheel drive vehicles, you didn't have a job in a garage when I grew up, because it was farms. I mean, that's all we had. So you had to do it.
The smell of burnt clutch early in the morning, Frank saying it.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I miss in life a lot. One of them is the smell of burning rubber, and the other thing is the smell of brakes and clutches. When you dump the clutch on one, they stand straight up in the air, and you get on the other, you got to slam on the brakes, you're getting in the sand pit. I miss that a lot.
Get on it. Get back into that.
Nope. No, you can't afford good anymore, Mark. You just can't.
Yeah, it's crazy. Any of those hobbies are getting out of hand. Even fishing and hunting gets too expensive. We should do a show on and all that. Crappie Day Fish On says, I've driven tractor trailers for 30 years. I drive my automatic home and still stomp down for the clutch.
Yeah. Hey, there's Matt. What do you say, Matt?
What's going on, man? How you doing, bud?
Glad to see you made it in tonight. Hope hunting season's going well for you.
I think he should be home by now. I think he's home today, so I'm glad he made it home.
He's doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah, he's been doing real good. He's been giving me all sorts of tips. And unlike Troy, he's been inspiring me to go on. Not that Troy. That Troy doesn't do that for me.
Troy has just been on a roll here lately with things. We'll leave it at that.
Yes, he has. Trying to figure out it's only experience if you feel you can't catch a fish without I don't get that. What does that mean, Lyle?
It's only expensive if you feel you can't catch a fish without fancy gear. That's true. I mean, I remember going out and sitting on a pond bank, catching channel cat out of a pond. My brother helped stock the pond when they built it in the mid-'60s. People owned a little market, and he helped stock it. They put bluegill and channel cat in it, and bass and crappie and stuff like that. And every time Mark would go catch fish, he'd take it out there and put it in Owen and Joyce's pond. And years later, about 1973, right before my dad passed away, the muskrats got in there and ruined the dam and lost all the water in it. And there was just like a mud puddle with stuff in it. And they was wanting to rebuild the dam and fix the pond back up, but there's enough fish in there. They wanted people to catch them out. So Dad wasn't able to do anything there at the end. And we go out there every night and catch some fish out of there. And those days are gone pretty much, because hell, nobody will let you fish their ponds anymore because of the liability if something happens. You didn't worry about it back in those days. You just go out there and drive right up to the pond. You get out and you walk down there, and it's loaded with fish and turtles and every damn thing else.
Not bad enough. You'd be too ashamed to tell anybody, so that you didn't have to worry about it.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Butterflies and Sunshine. What's going on, Linda? How you doing? And 205 Wild Action in the house. He's a channel supporter. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you having you in here. Frank says $100 worth of gas minimum to take a boat anywhere, and that's not counting anything. Oh, that's true. And it does take a lot to go out. You got boat gas and vehicle gas, and you can just about figure to pull a boat, it's going to cost you half of whatever kind of mileage you're getting. So if you're going very far, if you're getting 20 miles to gallon steadily, then you'll get about 10 or 12 pulling your boat. And then you got boat gas, and let's face it, they don't get very good mileage. 2 strokes and 4 strokes are better than 2 strokes, but they're still not great. But it's still fun. And if that's all you do for entertainment, then it's okay. But if you got a bunch of other hobbies you got to weigh out what you want to do the worst. Me, I want to go fishing.
I keep everything local. That helps, Lyle. I don't have the best fishing or the best hunting grounds near me, but I have them near me. So I just make do with what I got.
That's right.
Worst comes to worst, if I don't want to take the boat out or spend all that money to take the boat out, I'll go pond fishing here. I got dozens and dozens of ponds I can fish in my area. So I make do with what I have.
I'm really liking these conservation lakes. There's several around, and it doesn't take a lot to go to them. They haven't been real good to me the last week or two, but it's okay. The good times will come back.
It's that time of year. There's always a lull in the year winter fishing. I don't care what you say. It just happens, whether it's a turnover or whether they're on the move or
That's
they're
right.
out at your reach. It is what it is. V says, oh, pond fishing. Sneaking in late night, sneaking out early morning. Oh, the good old days.
That's right. That's right. When I was really young, Danny Portwood and Alan Finley and Jerry Dorsey, myself, we'd get on bicycles and take fishing rods and ride to several ponds right around town we lived in. We'd go out and spend the day in the summertime fishing those ponds and just have the greatest time. Nobody ever got in trouble and never done anything to get in trouble. And if you got hot, you just bail off in the pond and cool down a little bit.
That reminds me, in the summer, I always see the young kids on their bikes with their fishing poles cruising through the neighborhoods and stuff. That's always fun to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's better to see them do that than sitting there doing this all the time.
Always warms my heart. Twisted Fishing TV Frank says, we can do ponds and riverbanks, but it's limited. I take the canoe a lot. There you go. You can pick up a canoe on Marketplace or a kayak. I know Lyle's not big on kayaking or canoe, but that doesn't mean you all can't be.
That's right.
Pick one up that way. They're easy to transport. One of the guys I started flathead fishing with, he had a little Chevy Cavalier that he put a rack on, and he used to haul his kayak on the roof of his little coupe, and he had a blast. He's a hell of a flathead fisherman too.
I'm impressed with the amount of people that have went over to kayak fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Even guys that's got nice boats have kayaks, and they're able to access places that you couldn't otherwise get to unless you walked, and nobody wants you walking through their stuff anymore.
Look at that. Matt's been a member for 9 months. Thank you, Matt. He says 9 months for 9 deer, you old fart smellers. Fart fellers motivate me to keep going in pursuit of better fishing and hunting.
There you go.
There you go.
That's right.
There's a great tip right there, and I just heard it the other day too. You can't catch fish where the fish aren't at. So if you want to catch bigger fish, you got to go to bigger fish water. You want to shoot bigger deer, you got to go where the bigger deer live. So
that's 100% correct. It really is. You want to get big fish, you got to be where the big fish are at. And my theory's always been that it doesn't really matter where I fish. If a 5-pound channel cat's the biggest fish in that body of water, that's the one I want to catch.
Yep.
If it's 100-pounder, I'm looking for him. I've never got one, but I'm always looking for a big one like that. But a lot of the places, a 20-pound blue cat or flathead is a trophy. I've caught them a lot bigger, but that's a trophy size, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people won't agree with that, but I don't keep anything. My God, Mark, I caught that 14 and that 16 here this summer, and there ain't no way I'm wrestling them pigs around to clean them. I want them about like this. That's it. I don't want no big fish to clean. That's a bunch of crapola.
I'm usually one, if I can't zip the sides off a fish fairly quick, I'm usually not taking them home.
Because
then you're looking at a bloody mess on my tailgate, which is where I clean most of my fishing.
Really?
So yeah, for the most part, yeah. It's just cleaner out there. I'm by the garbage out there, I'm not smelling up the house. The wife doesn't come downstairs and say I'm making a mess. It works out well. What I need to get, Lyle, is one of those tailgate size cutting boards, though. That's what I think I'm going to get this year.
That's right. You could use deck screws to screw it right on the inside of your tailgate.
Well, I wouldn't even do that. I would just keep it down there and be done with it. I ain't screwing nothing into my tailgate. Frank says some of those Sea-Doo fishing platforms are looking awesome. They're pretty cool. I know they ain't cheap though, Frank. They ain't cheap at all.
No, they're not. But yeah, you're right. They are. They do look kind of cool, and them things are big enough now that hell, they put rod holders and everything else on them.
Yeah, the electronics, coolers, live bait tanks on them. They're getting out of hand. Jeff Beal says, I always try to catch the smallest fish so I don't go home disappointed. There you go.
I succeeded in that today. No, Matt, I'm not doing that. Nope. Not that I wouldn't like to shoot one. I just hell, I got guns I haven't shot in 15 years, maybe longer than that.
V says, give me a paddle boat and a trolling motor, and I'm good. There you go.
Yep. I do like trolling motors or gas motors and not paddles. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, paddles aren't too bad, Lyle. On a kayak, they're pretty smooth. As long as you don't have current or real strong wind, paddle in a kayak or a canoe isn't too bad. So,
you know, Mark, last year I promised Dockery that I would get in one of his kayaks and try it. And it never come to be. So I had this feeling that I would be going to be doing that this year, and I've come to the conclusion. You're not going to believe I'm saying this.
I'm listening.
I've come to the conclusion that I want to get in one. And if I get wet getting in or out of that thing, I'll be done. But yeah, I'm going to.
After what you said about him today, he's going to sink you in that kayak. You watch.
He ain't very big. I'll kick his ass. Oh man, but yeah,
paddling or pedaling. I'm old. No, thank you. I'm old too, but it isn't that bad. Trust me.
Them kayaks, I've looked at some of them. Not that I was really in. They make a single person pontoon that I'm a lot more interested in than that. But if you got in one of them, for me, it'd have to have a trolling motor. It just have to have.
Well, Lyle, on that note, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Lyle.
Thanks, sir. You too.
Look forward to another year of the show with you. I know we've changed the name a couple of times, and but I think we're sticking with Cranky Old Anglers because that fits us best. Who knows? We may change it to like Cranky Old Outdoors. Who knows? We'll have to talk about that.
Something. It's hard to say, but we're going to hang around and have fun. We get off topic. We might talk about trucks or racing. We might talk about hunting or
eating.
Fixing food, but we're gonna have a good
refrigerators, anything. We'll talk about it. We don't care.
That's right.
And most importantly, we always talk about the weather.
We'll always talk about the weather
because we're cranky old.
That's right.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, man.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry again for missing a few shows, but I appreciate you guys coming back. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next week. Have a good night, Lyle.
Good night, buddy.